Please give a warm welcome to Mitchell Perque.
Good morning. I hope you all had a lovely lunch, lovely in between, from our morning speakers to our afternoon speakers. My name is Mitchell Perque. I am a fourth-year sociology student, as was mentioned, and I am going to be sharing with you today some poetry. I have been writing poetry for my entire life. It is one of my most prized forms of expression, and it's very important to me. Now, because today is about enduring, I have written these poems about one of the most difficult parts of my life. It was a depressive episode that held me in its grip for about a year, and through it I struggled a significant amount. It was not easy, and getting out of it was something that took a lot of effort, but it will influence a lot of the themes in the poems I talk about today. So, I am going to give you a warning now about the content that will be in the two poems that I will be reading. There will be talk of depressive episodes, suicidal ideations, personal development, and connection to the self in a way that is not entirely positive. If any of these themes would be too heavy for you at this moment, I am going to give you a bit of time to leave the space, at which after my performance you'll be advised to come back in. But if you need to, we are giving you this moment to exit. Perfect. Poetry to me is very important. And poetry in this time was one of the main ways I was able to actually connect with myself again. I was out of my body. I was out of my mind. I come from a space that is not very accepting of what I am, and thus I grew up in a way that made me feel less than human. I felt like less of a person. So poetry gave me a way to connect in words, and utilizing language in a way that was not common in the current English lexicon helped. It helped me grow, and it helped me connect. So my first poem will be about myself. It'll be how I saw myself within one of the worst periods of my life, and it will reflect a lot of the thoughts that I had towards myself during that time. We will start with a niece I named after myself. Mitchell. How long will you stand in the mirror and stare? How long will you lie in bed doing nothing? Lie in bed reading nothing? Lie in bed consuming endless amounts of nothing? How long will you stare? Stare at a screen that lusts for your mind. Stare at a screen that wants to be you. It wants your attention. It wants to have you in its grasps. Will you stare at it until it dies in your hands, until it burns into your eyes? Burns away your time? How long will you sit in silence? How long will you eat away at your own fingers, eat away at your personal relationships, eat until there's nothing left for you to gain from it, like a leech on the side of those who have so much better to offer to the world, so much better to give, that all you do is take? How long will you wait for them to hate you? Hate you in the way that you hate you. Hate you in the way you think everyone hates you and how you think they all should. How long have you been down there? Do you remember a time when you considered anyone close? Do you remember a time when you felt safe outside, safe inside? Do you remember a time when you felt safe? Like you felt like you were your own friend? Do you remember what having friends was like? When people liked you, when they were close to you? When did that change? When did everything change? Why did you sit by and let it change? Did you think you deserved it? Did you think they always deserved better? Deserving of a friend they could trust, actually trust, deserving of a friend? Do you miss it? Do you miss feeling like you were trustworthy? Miss feeling like you were sane? Do you miss that person you once were? Do you wish others missed it too? Are you glad they all seemed to forget you the second that you left, the second you left out of that door when everything slipped away? Do you not realize the opportunity that you now have? They all kicked kicked at your fingers, left you to fall, where the only sound left from the thump was the only thing that remained from the past of you, the only thing that remains of anything of you, everything else hidden away for the rest of time. You can vanish in peace, like all your friends did. Vanish into the background of school photos and memoirs haphazardly flapped together, staying stagnant forever in that memory. A perfect fleeting reflection on the pool's still face, depths lost in lack of care. I'm sorry for your loss. That poem is very important to me. It's a poem that heavily reflects how I saw myself. It reflects a time period at which I couldn't even connect with the concept of what being human was. And I found myself lacking in everything that I thought humans should have. That disconnect kept me in a lot of ways from thinking about having a future, because I really thought I didn't deserve one. Also because I thought that I wouldn't have one. So it was hard for me in a lot of ways to think about what my tomorrow would entail, what that would mean for me, what the future meant for me. And this next poem reflects a lot of that stress, a lot of that struggle towards connecting with a concept that everyone else seemed to get, that the future was coming and that I should be looking forward to it. This next piece is titled Tomorrow. I wish I could live in my own tomorrow, the one that was promised, the one that others see clear, the one that sits pretty with their thoughts all sorted. I wish I could live without this constant fear. The fear I could ruin this precious tomorrow, the one that tells me I'm losing my mind, the one that is urgent and always infringing, the fear that I'll die if I step just outside. It's strange how controlling it is of my present, the one that seems so impossibly true, the one that sets up these implausible standards. It's strange how it alters my view. It's strange how it warps my whole image of you. This fear that no one could love me again, but I wish I could let go of this odd paranoia, but if we're apart, will today ever end? Tomorrow, 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 again. Those are two of the most vital poems to discuss what my mental state was like back then. They work in tandem to describe both my fear of the future and my fear of myself. I've grown a lot since that period, though, even though it was very recent to me. And a lot of that has been due to this space, this school. I have met a lot of people who have widely opened my view of what being a person can be and how I should be. I've met a lot of people who have greatly influenced my life here. New friends, new club mates. I've found new activities that I absolutely love, and all of which has kind of brought me together into a new life, looking forward to the future. A lot of our speakers today are responsible for that. Student minds who are so brilliant that they outshine all of my deepest worries about what tomorrow holds. So, in reverence for the future, I'm going to improv a little bit of poetry today about how I feel about this event and how I felt about everything I've seen up until now at this event. And I'm going to share that with you now. In a poem I will probably later title The Future, I will discuss what this has been like for me. Getting to stand on this stage here today, in the lights and in the view of all of you, has been brilliant to me. A star for the future, shining bright upon my face, illuminating for the future a vision of me that all of you see. A person who's comprised, who's together, who's held up and held forward. Through every dance and every song that we share, the culture that we will bring together and weave, every movement and every space, we will bring forth a new light together, community and culture hand in hand, guiding others towards what we have already seen and already known, that our futures is ours to weave in everything we will hold. Valued together, we are stronger soon, enduring through towards that beautiful future of a bright tomorrow. Thank you.